The modern battlefield is watched from above by eyes that never blink. Predator drones circle at 25,000 feet, their cameras capable of reading a license plate from 5 miles away. Thermal imaging cuts through darkness. Multispectral sensors pierce sandstorms. In the age of total surveillance, we're told nothing escapes detection. But in 2015, across 3 separate theaters of operation, drone operators tracked targets that defied every known signature. Objects that moved in ways no aircraft could. Shapes that appeared on infrared but cast no shadow. Phenomena that military analysts couldn't or wouldn't explain. This is the reality of modern asymmetric warfare. Conflicts fought in remote valleys, sprawling deserts, and contested seas where the enemy isn't always who you expect. Where operators sitting in climate-controlled rooms in Nevada guide machines over hostile territory half a world away. Where the distance between the observer and the observed creates a strange disconnect. A digital veil that sometimes reveals things we're not prepared to see. What follows are 3 accounts from personnel involved in drone operations during 2015. Their names have been changed. Some details remain classified. The footage they describe has never been publicly released, and each incident was logged, investigated, and quietly archived. Tonight, we examine what they saw and what was never satisfactorily explained. If you're drawn to these documented accounts from modern warfare, stories that exist in the gray space between official record and unexplained phenomenon, consider subscribing. These aren't tales told around campfires. They're incidents logged in military databases, witnessed by trained observers, and filed away in classified archives. Now, let's step into the fog of war. Creech Air Force Base, Nevada. March 2015. The 432nd Wing operated MQ-9 Reaper drones over Syria and Iraq around the clock. Crews worked 12-hour shifts in ground control stations, modified shipping containers lined with monitors and controls. The work was monotonous. Surveillance, pattern of life analysis, occasional precision strikes. Operators joked darkly that they went to war in the morning and picked up groceries on the way home. Senior Airman Marcus Chen, name changed, was a sensor operator with 8 months in theater. His job? Control the drone's camera and sensor suite while the pilot handled flight. On the night of March 17th, his crew was supporting a special operations team near Manbij, Syria, providing overwatch during a compound raid targeting an ISIS logistics coordinator. It should have been routine. The following account is excerpted from a restricted debrief conducted by Air Force Office of Special Investigations in April 2015. We were on station at 22,000 feet, standard orbit pattern. SEAL team was 15 minutes out from the target compound. My job was scanning surrounding roads for approaching vehicles, squirters trying to escape or reinforcements coming in. I had the IR sensor running, switching between thermal and standard night vision. Desert gets cold after sunset, so heat signatures pop really clear. You see everything, people, vehicles, even animals show up distinct. Around 0137 local, I caught movement on thermal about 2 kilometers east of the target. At first I thought it was a vehicle with the engine off, maybe. The heat signature was wrong, though. Too diffuse, too organic looking. I called it out to Lieutenant Zhao, the pilot. He told me to keep eyes on it while maintaining primary surveillance. So I split-screened it. The thing was moving. Not fast, maybe walking pace, but the shape kept changing. On thermal, it looked almost humanoid, but 8, maybe 9 feet tall. The heat pattern was uniform, ambient temperature, like it wasn't generating heat but reflecting it somehow. I switched to optical zoom with night vision. That's when it got weird. I couldn't get a clear image. Every time I focused, the figure would distort, like analog TV static, but just around this one subject. Everything else was crystal clear. Rocks, bushes, tire tracks in the sand. I called Zhao again. He thought I was dealing with equipment malfunction. We ran a full diagnostic on the sensor suite. Everything checked out. But when I went back to the target, it had moved half a kilometer closer to the compound. In maybe 40 seconds. That's when I lost it completely on all sensors. Not like it moved out of frame. It just disappeared mid-screen. Thermal, night vision, even standard optical. Just gone. We reviewed the recording frame by frame afterward. One frame it's there, next frame nothing. Not even a blur. But here's the thing that still bothers me. Right before it vanished, I swear I saw it turn and look directly up at us. At the camera. At me. From 22,000 feet away, through darkness and sensors, it shouldn't have been able to detect. Mission was scrubbed. SEAL team diverted to secondary objective. Official report said, technical malfunction requiring immediate systems check. But I've operated these birds for years. That wasn't a malfunction. Chen's account was corroborated by pilot Lieutenant Sarah Zhao and a third crew member monitoring communications. All three underwent psychological evaluation, standard protocol for unusual incident reports. All were cleared and returned to duty. The incident was classified and forwarded to Air Force. Intelligence. A technical analysis of the drone's sensor data confirmed what Chen reported. A thermal signature, appearing and moving for approximately 4 minutes before vanishing with no apparent cause. The anomaly was logged as unexplained atmospheric phenomenon, possible sensor artifact. However, a detail not included in Chen's official statement later emerged during a separate investigation. At least 3 other drones operating in northern Syria that night reported brief sensor anomalies within a 30-kilometer radius of Manbij, all within a 15-minute window, all described as distorted humanoid heat signatures. Local intelligence assets were quietly queried about the area's history. Manbij sits near ancient Mesopotamian ruins, some dating back 4,000 years. Kurdish fighters active in the region had reported strange sightings in the desert for years, figures that walked at night, watching from ridgelines. Most dismissed these as stress, sleep deprivation, the mind playing tricks in hostile territory. But Chen's footage existed, classified, reviewed by analysts who had no explanation that fit known phenomena: balloons, drones, birds, atmospheric effects, sensor malfunction. None matched the data. The SEAL team completed their raid the following night without incident. The compound was empty. What makes the Manbij incident particularly unsettling is its documentation. This wasn't a story told around a campfire or a half-remembered encounter distorted by time. Multiple trained observers witnessed it in real time. The data was recorded, analyzed, and archived. Technology designed to eliminate uncertainty instead captured something that deepened it. Chen transferred to a training role 6 months later. In a private conversation, he mentioned he still operates drones, but only over domestic airspace now. "I watch borders and disaster zones," he said. "I don't want to see anything like that again, and I definitely don't want it looking back." The footage remains classified under a technical designation that reveals nothing about its contents. Requests for declassification have been denied without explanation. The incident report sits in a filing cabinet at Naval Air Systems Command in Patuxent River, Maryland. Designation: Anomalous Track 111207. Status: Unresolved. In December 2015, the USS Kidd, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, was conducting routine freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea when its Scan Eagle drone reported contact with an unidentified submerged object. The encounter lasted 6 hours. 3 separate reconnaissance drones tracked it. None could identify it. By dawn, the object was gone. The destroyer's captain filed the mandatory report. Naval intelligence conducted interviews. Radar data was analyzed. Sonar recordings were reviewed by acoustic specialists. The conclusion, buried in bureaucratic language. Contact exhibited characteristics inconsistent with known maritime vessels, biological entities, or underwater geological formations. Translation. They had no idea what it was. The official report is 8 pages long, dry, technical, carefully worded. But the crew statements, obtained separately, tell a different story. One of confusion, awe, and something close to fear. To understand what happened, we need to work backward from that dawn, rewinding through a night that still haunts everyone involved. Hour 6. 0630. Local time Chief Petty Officer David Reeves was on the bridge when the last drone lost contact. He watched the monitor as the Scan Eagle's camera showed nothing but empty ocean. Then the feed went dark, not static, just dark, like something had covered the lens. The drone was at 800 feet, Reeves later told investigators. Nothing could reach it, but we lost telemetry completely. By the time we regained signal, the bird was 3 miles off course, spinning. We barely recovered it before it ditched. When the maintenance crew examined the drone, they found something unexpected. The camera lens housing was dented inward, salt water corrosion on components that should have been sealed. And the memory card that stored footage was completely wiped. Not corrupted, wiped like it had been degaussed. The object itself had vanished from all sensors. Hour 4:30 local time. 2 hours earlier, the object was still trackable, barely. Lieutenant Amanda Torres, the destroyer's tactical action officer, coordinated 3 drones maintaining visual contact. It stayed just below the surface, Torres stated. We could see it on infrared, massive heat signature, maybe 60 feet long, moving at 12 knots. Too big for a shark or whale, too warm. And it was pacing us. For 40 minutes, the object mirrored the kids' course changes. When the destroyer turned north, it turned north. When they slowed, it slowed. Intelligence analysts suggested Chinese submarine, but sonar painted nothing mechanical. No propeller cavitation, no engine noise, nothing that matched known acoustic profiles. Then the object did something submarines cannot do. It accelerated vertically, breaching the surface for exactly 3 seconds before submerging again. 4 sailors on deck watch reported seeing it. Their descriptions varied. Some said it was dark and smooth. Others claimed they saw bioluminescence. One swore he saw segments like a spine. All agreed on one detail. When it breached, it didn't crash back into the water. It descended silently, like it was controlling its movement. Hour 1:30 local time. The first Scan Eagle launched at 0127. The pilot, Petty Officer James Park, operating from the ship's control room, was told to investigate a sonar contact 12 miles southwest. I thought it might be a fishing boat, Park recalled. We get a lot of those in disputed waters. Thermal imaging picked up something right away, though. Strong signature, deep, maybe 40 meters down. Park brought the drone lower, activating the low-light camera. The ocean surface was calm, moonlit. Then he saw the disturbance, a wake with no vessel. Water moving in a V pattern like something large was swimming just beneath, except the wake was going against the current. I followed it for maybe 10 minutes. It was heading straight toward our task group. I radioed the bridge, told them we had an unidentified contact inbound. That's when things escalated. The kid went to general quarters. The object appeared on the destroyer's own sonar now, closing at 15 knots. Too fast for a whale. Too deliberate for debris. And according to the sonar operator's log, it was emitting sound. A low-frequency pulse. Regular, almost rhythmic. Not biological. Not mechanical. Communicative. The beginning. 6 hours before contact. What no one aboard the kid knew, a fishing trawler operating 70 miles south had radioed the Philippine Coast Guard that morning, reporting something following them through the night. "Like a shadow under our boat," the captain said, "staying with us no matter how we turned." The trawler returned to port early, crew refusing to go back out. Local fishermen nodded knowingly. They had stories of things in those waters. Old stories passed down through generations. Things that swam in depths no human had charted. Things that watched. By the time the kid arrived in the area that evening, whatever had followed the fishing boat had found a new subject of interest, a destroyer with drones, sensors, and a crew trained to investigate the unknown. They would spend the night being investigated themselves. The Navy's official statement called it an unidentified, submerged contact. Intelligence agencies suggested Chinese or Russian submersible technology. Marine biologists proposed an unknown cetacean species, though none could explain the thermal signature or the apparent intelligence behind its movements. The crew of the Kid knows what they tracked. They also know it chose to leave. After 6 hours of observation, it simply descended beyond sensor range and vanished into the depths. Depths that, in the South China Sea, reach over 16,000 feet. What else moves in that darkness, we can only guess. Classified, Secret, Nofen Incident Report, 2015's Arawaita 22E Helmand, Joint Special Operations Command, Afghanistan Theater, on the 22nd of August 2015 at approximately 22:45 hours local time, an RQ-170 Sentinel reconnaissance drone operating over Helmand province detected unidentified aerial phenomena during routine surveillance of suspected Taliban supply routes in the Sangin district. Summary of incident. Drone was conducting infrared surveillance at 45,000 feet when sensors detected multiple rapidly moving objects at lower altitude, estimated 15,000 to 20,000 feet. Objects exhibited flight characteristics inconsistent with known aircraft, instantaneous acceleration, 0 to estimated Mach 1+ in under 2 seconds, abrupt directional changes exceeding known G-force tolerances, no visible means of propulsion. No heat signature consistent with jet or rocket engines, no radar cross-section consistent with conventional aircraft. Contact duration, 11 minutes, 34 seconds. Objects numbered between 3 and 7. Count varied throughout observation. Objects appeared to be tracking ground convoy, moving through mountain pass. Actions taken. Alert transmitted to Regional Command Southwest. F-16 fighter patrol diverted to investigate. Ground convoy advised of airspace anomaly. Full sensor data logged and transmitted to JSOC intelligence cell. Result: objects departed area at high speed upon approach of F-16s. Fighter pilots reported negative visual contact despite radar guidance. Ground convoy reported no hostile action. Surveillance mission completed without further incident. Classification, rationale, advanced reconnaissance platform, details, tactical operations data, coalition force movements. Investigating officer, Latar Coltis. Redacted, USAF intelligence status. Open, pending technical analysis. That's the official version. The document that exists in military archives. Clean, precise, bureaucratic. But 3 people witnessed what happened that night. 3 trained military personnel filed separate reports, and none of them agree on what they saw. Witness account 1. The sensor operator. Technical Sergeant Robert Martinez, 30th Reconnaissance Squadron, provided the following statement during his classified debrief. "I've been flying the RQ-170 for 3 years. I know every glitch, every sensor artifact, every way the system can fool you. This wasn't that. The objects were solid. They showed up on infrared, electro-optical, and synthetic aperture radar simultaneously. That doesn't happen with atmospheric phenomena or equipment malfunction. Ghosts don't paint on 3 independent systems. They were following that convoy, circling it. Not aggressive, just observing, like we were observing them. When I zoomed in, I could see they were structured. Geometric, almost. Triangular or diamond-shaped. Hard to tell at that resolution. They moved in formation, perfectly synchronized. The moment those F-16s turned toward our area, they scattered. Not like breaking formation, like they ceased to exist. 1 second on screen, next second gone. Simultaneous, no acceleration, no departure path. Just off. Here's what bothers me. The official report says 3 to 7 objects. I counted 9. I specifically noted 9 in my initial log. When I filed my formal report, I was told to revise it to match the consensus observation. I asked why. They said sensor data was ambiguous at points. The sensor data wasn't ambiguous. Someone just didn't like what it showed. Witness account 2. The intelligence analyst. Captain Jennifer Oakes, JSOC intelligence cell at Bagram Airfield, offered a different perspective. When the data came through, my first thought was drone swarm. Chinese or Russian tech being tested in a live environment. Afghanistan's been a proving ground for experimental systems for years. Made sense tactically, but the performance metrics didn't match. Even classified drone tech has limitations. These things were pulling maneuvers that would turn a pilot into paste. The G-forces alone. We calculated minimum forces of 80 to 100 Gs during some of those turns. No human pilot survives that. No drone survives that without structural failure. So maybe autonomous AI-controlled craft. Except they showed 0 communication emissions. No data links, no GPS telemetry, no radio frequencies at all. How do you coordinate official report says 3 to 7. How do you coordinate multiple craft with 0 detectable communication? I wrote up 3 possible explanations for the commander. 1. Foreign advanced technology, unlikely given performance. 2. Sensor malfunction, inconsistent with multispectrum confirmation. 3. Unknown phenomena requiring further investigation. They went with option 2. Officially. Unofficially, I was told to stop speculating and reminded of my security clearance obligations. The convoy we were watching? They were CIA contractors moving informant assets, high-value targets. Someone was watching them. Something was watching them. We still don't know who or what. Witness account 3. The F-16 pilot, Major Tyler Brennan, 405th Expeditionary Fighter Squadron, provided this restricted statement. We got scrambled at 2251 hours for an airspace anomaly. Not hostile aircraft, not missiles, just anomaly. That's usually code for we don't know what the hell's going on. Flight ops vectored us toward Sangjin District. I was lead, Captain Hayes on my wing. We went full afterburner, climbed to 30,000 feet. Radar showed nothing. Controllers insisted something was there, multiple targets, but our scopes were clean. Then I saw them, not on instruments, through the canopy. Maybe 20 miles out, lower altitude. Lights, not navigation lights, not flares. Just luminous objects moving erratically at impossible speeds. I called it out. Hayes confirmed visual. By the time we closed to 10 miles, they were gone. I mean instantly gone. Not outrunning us, not diving, just no longer there. We orbited the area for 15 minutes. Nothing. After we landed, intelligence debriefed us separately. They seemed very interested in whether we recorded anything. Our gun cameras caught nothing. Too dark, too distant. I mentioned the lights. They asked me if I was sure it wasn't ground fire or flares. I told them I've seen ground fire and flares. These weren't. My report says visual contact negative. That's not what I reported. 3 trained military personnel. 3 separate accounts. 3 different conclusions. Martinez saw 9 structured craft on multiple sensors, tracked for 11 minutes. Oakes analyzed data suggesting advanced technology but no communication signatures. Brennan visually confirmed objects that didn't appear on radar. The official report splits the difference, minimizes the incident, and classifies everything. Standard procedure for unexplained phenomena. File it, restrict it, move on. But somewhere in that contradiction lies what actually happened over Helmand Province on August 22nd, 2015. The convoy reached its destination safely. The informants were relocated. The operation was classified as successful. The objects, whatever they were, never interfered. They were only watching, just like we were watching them. In 2015, the United States military operated thousands of drones worldwide. Predators and Reapers over Iraq and Syria. Sentinels over Afghanistan. Scan Eagles on naval vessels from the Mediterranean to the Pacific. Combined, they logged millions of flight hours, collecting vast oceans of surveillance data. Most of it routine, expected, explicable. But within that data, anomalies appear. Objects that move wrong. Signatures that don't match anything in the database. Phenomena that trained operators can't categorize. Most are eventually explained. Weather balloons, atmospheric effects, equipment glitches, classified friendly aircraft. Some are not. The 3 incidents presented tonight represent a fraction of unexplained reports from that year alone. What makes them significant isn't their strangeness. The world is strange, and sensors sometimes lie. What makes them significant is the consistency. Multiple witnesses, corroborating data, official documentation, and institutional silence. Were these encounters with foreign technology? Possibly. Several nations were developing advanced drone and submersible systems in 2015. But the performance characteristics described exceed publicly known capabilities even today. The objects over Helmand pulled maneuvers that would destroy any known aircraft. The contact in the South China Sea demonstrated intelligence and purpose. The figure near Manbij appeared on systems designed to see everything, then vanished as if it had never existed. Were they natural phenomena misinterpreted through technology? Perhaps. Human perception through drone cameras is fundamentally different from direct observation. We're seeing the world through sensors that sometimes reveal truths and sometimes create illusions. Atmospheric conditions, equipment artifacts, the limitations of digital imaging, all can conspire to show us things that aren't really there. Or were they something else entirely? Something that doesn't fit our categories of aircraft, vessel, or known biology. The military's approach is pragmatic. Document, investigate, classify. If it's not an immediate threat, it becomes a file in a cabinet, data in an archive. The personnel involved return to duty, bound by security protocols not to discuss what they saw. Life continues. Missions proceed. The war grinds forward. But late at night, in the quiet moments between missions, operators still glance at their screens and wonder. They think about shapes that moved wrong, objects that defied physics, phenomena that looked back. They remember the feeling of being watched through their own surveillance equipment, the unsettling realization that the observer might also be the observed. The modern battlefield is watched from above by eyes that never blink. Sophisticated sensors, advanced algorithms, human operators trained to detect threats before they materialize. We've achieved a level of surveillance previous generations couldn't imagine. We can track individuals across continents, monitor communications from orbit, observe enemy movements in real time from thousands of miles away. But the question remains, in an age of total surveillance, when we watch everything, what watches us? And more unsettling, what if it's been watching far longer than we've been looking? The drone operators from 2015 filed their reports. They answered questions during debriefs. They followed protocols. Most returned to operational duty. Some requested reassignment. A few left the service entirely, citing reasons that had nothing to do with what they'd seen. Their footage remains classified. Their reports are sealed. The incidents are logged in databases few have access to, filed under designations that reveal nothing about their contents. Freedom of Information Act requests are denied. Declassification timelines extend decades into the future. The official position is clear. These events, if they occurred at all, pose no threat and require no public disclosure. But in the growing archive of unexplained military encounters, these 3 incidents from 2015 occupy a unique position. Not because they're the strangest. Stranger reports exist. Not because they're the best documented. Some incidents have more witnesses, clearer footage, more extensive investigation. They matter because they're representative. Representative of a larger truth about modern warfare and surveillance. The more we watch, the more we realize how much we don't understand. Our technology has given us unprecedented visibility into the world's hidden corners, but it's also revealed that some of those corners contain things we have no framework to explain. What do you think happened in these 3 theaters of operation? Equipment malfunction across multiple independent systems. Foreign adversary technology that exceeded known capabilities by impossible margins. Natural phenomena that perfectly mimicked intelligent behavior. Or something else. Something that doesn't fit comfortably into any of those categories. The truth is, we may never know. The footage won't be declassified in our lifetime. The personnel involved are bound by security oaths. The investigations, if they continued beyond the initial reports, remain hidden behind classification barriers. All we have are these accounts. These glimpses into moments when trained observers, using sophisticated equipment, encountered something they couldn't categorize. When the tools designed to eliminate mystery instead deepened it. The drones still fly. The missions continue. Over Syria's deserts, the South China Sea's dark waters, Afghanistan's mountain valleys, and 1,000 other locations around the world, unmanned aircraft maintain their silent vigil, watching, recording, tracking, and sometimes, perhaps, being watched in return. The footage from these incidents remains classified. The reports are filed away, buried in databases that may not be opened for decades. The personnel involved have moved on to other assignments, other missions, other skies. They carry what they saw in silence, bound by oaths and protocols, unable to speak freely about those nights in 2015. But somewhere, over dark waters and distant deserts, the drones still circle. Still watching, still recording, still tracking something impossible. If these documented accounts intrigue you, if you want to hear more stories that exist in the gray space between official record and unexplained phenomenon, consider subscribing. These incidents aren't fiction. They're filed in military archives, witnessed by trained observers, and quietly archived away from public view. Until next time, remember, in the age of total surveillance, we're not always the only ones watching. These stories are presented as submitted accounts and military incident reports. Names and identifying details have been changed to protect personnel privacy and operational security. Official documentation references are based on publicly available information, Freedom of Information Act requests, and declassified military records. All incidents described occurred in 2015 across different operational theaters. Interpretations of events may vary. The U.S. military does not officially confirm or deny details of classified operations or surveillance data. Content is intended for entertainment and discussion purposes. Viewer discretion is advised.